Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth have killed more people than Jeffrey Dahmer with these illegal strikes, which are clearly a violation of international
Well, all right, let me ask. All right, hang on, please. Hang on, please. Let me ask Robert. Hang on, please. I want to ask, because since you raised it, I want to ask Rob, given your outstanding service to your country, what do you make of these strikes on these Venezuelan boats? I mean, the argument, as you know, of people who are highly concerned about this is that there's been no evidence provided to the American people that they were all members of these gangs, one. And that secondly, in the most recent one, there appears to have been a double attack with people being attacked while they were in the water, and that is a breach of Geneva Convention. What is your view of both those issues?
Well, my view is, first of all, I wasn't there, so I can't say from firsthand knowledge. I'm going off of my experience. And if these are designated terrorist organizations hitting with a
does not mean anything. If just because the American government said that they're a designated terrorist organization, that doesn't give you the right to go and fucking bomb them. Like, you can't just arbitrarily have the executive call someone a terrorist, and therefore, really, can they airstrike Antifa then because they're a designated terrorist organization? What the fuck? By Trump's executive order? Please, oh fuck, someone ask him, can they airstrike Antifa? They're terrorists, according to Trump.
Drone strike
according to the executive
is
branch.
Within legal authorization, and they have teams of lawyers telling them that too. And in all my experience with drone strikes, it's never hit them once, and if they live, it's like, oh, whoopsie poopsie, you got to live. You hit them again, I think. I'm assuming I wasn't there, but I believe it's called delegated authority kill missions. That's what I'm thinking. If they're terrorists and they're going to kill 100,000 people a year with the fentanyl they're bringing in, I don't have a problem with that. But again, I'm not in the chain of command. If they're doing it legally, I don't think it's a problem. We do it everywhere in the world. We killed an American, Anwar al-Awlaki, in 2011 in Yemen in a drone strike. He wasn't convicted by a jury. Then we killed his son 2 weeks later. President Obama was in charge, so not a lot of hullabaloo about that. But because now we're in our own...
There was a lot of hullabaloo about that. The difference was they consulted the Office of Legal Counsel beforehand, and they were operating in a venue that was a fucking war venue by the American government. Like, America's not at war with Venezuela. They're not.
Well, we're in our hemisphere here, and because you got to figure, you got to follow the money. Where are these drugs coming from South America, eking their way up through, the United States, up near the Chicago area, some of the Great Lakes for distribution? Someone's involved somewhere. Just follow the money. And the previous point too about bringing up Jeffrey Dahmer, dude, I've killed more people than Jeffrey Dahmer, and I don't think I'm a bad guy.
The quiet part is you have to get them all in the first strike. Seems dumb. Well, generally, you can go if you bomb like a military target and the people there are injured, but they're not showing any sign of surrender or whatever else. And the anticipation is that they're just going to, once they're, back to fucking business, they're just going to go back to fight. Then you can ensure that you can strike them again to ensure like lethality, especially if it's like for a bigger figure. But that's not the case with Shipwreck. Shipwreck is actually, it's got its own fucking, they actually put the word in, shipwrecked, that you can't double target someone, because once you're shipwrecked, you might as well be, it's the equivalent of completely incapacitated. You cannot be part of a military operation if you're shipwrecked. It's hard to combat, yeah. Also, that's assuming the first strike was legal. That's assuming the targets were legal, which they're not.
That's not the high bar.
The truth is, we need more
difference.
Let me bring in. I want to bring in.
Loner never watched that WIC panel. No, why? Which one?
I want to bring in Omar, if I may. I want to bring in Omar. Omar, let's talk about a wider issue here. Like in the UK, we have as many Muslims, if not more now, than in the whole of the United States. So pretty disproportionate. I mean, by comparison, for example, in the United States, there are 4 to 5 million Muslims and 4 to 5 million Jews. In the UK, there are about 5 million Muslims and 250,000 Jews. So it's a different dynamic to what is going on in the country. And the concern in my country, which has always been very tolerant, I think very multicultural, very well assimilated in the main, the
Destiny, Soypill, WIC, Shipwrecks. Okay, let's see.
The concern comes from people who look at reports, verified reports, that there are now nearly 100 unofficial Sharia law courts, for example, operating in the UK.
Sharia. Fuck! What do they do, Piers? Hit him with the nuclear option. What do they do that we should be concerned about?
In other words, there are a group of people, in this case, the Muslim community,
he's going to elaborate?
operating their own law within our framework
That's
of
not
our
what they're. That's literally not what they're doing. That's literally not what they're doing. What the fuck? Unless you mean like a fucking social club might have some rules, and that's them operating within their own law within the British. Okay, so
laws. Is that something that should be tolerated? I mean, should countries like the United States and the UK tolerate the existence of rival
Absolutely
courts,
not.
rival law?
It's not a rival. It's not a rival court. It's not a rival law. It's not. It's are the Jewish fucking marriage councils? Are they rival? Fuck.
In their own border.
Capital punishment.
Bah.
Piers, I promise I will answer your question very directly, but just a quick comment on those strikes and the mention of Obama. There's no question that Obama did, in fact, engage in unlawful strikes, and people should object to them when he kills an American citizen abroad with those drone strikes. And what Trump has done is just escalated that to a worse level. With Obama, again, not defending his policy, it's indefensible and should be condemned. Nonetheless, struggling with the idea is
these two acts are not even slightly equivalent. Like it was a fucking whatever you call it, like a theater of war or like a theater of conflict in Yemen. Like there were actually like terrorists by this definition that everyone would agree on, not people sending drugs, and the weapons that they have are the drugs that will be sold and consumed willingly by Americans. Like fuck me. Ugh. Doesn't the Catholic Church have its own set of rules which technically rival the states? You could say that in the UK as well. We're Church of England, right? Yeah. I was supposed to look for shipwreck. Just them reading the laws. Hors de combat.
Section 5.9, persons placed hors de combat.
Hors.
Persons, including combatants, placed hors
I thought it was that until 2 days ago. Retard.
de combat may not be made the object of attack. Persons placed hors de combat include the following categories of persons, provided they...
Does a drug addict consume willingly? More so than the victim of an airstrike gets hit willingly. Yes.
They abstain from any hostile act and do not attempt to escape. 1. Persons in the power of an adverse party. 2. Persons not yet in custody who have surrendered. 3. Persons who have been rendered unconscious or otherwise incapacitated by wounds, sickness, or shipwreck. And 4. Persons parachuting from aircraft in distress. So, if the Washington Post report is correct, Andrew, could you give us the legal...
It wasn't a shipwreck. The drugs were still operational. The chemical weapons, they still had... You can fit several pounds of chemical warfare, of chemical agents, up your asshole in a plastic baggie.
Reasoning that, in your opinion, in your argument, why those shipwrecked narco guys were a legal target.
Well, they weren't shipwrecked. They were blown up.
What do you think shipwrecked means?
Who the fuck is this guy? I'm starting to... There's an inverse correlation now, right? With these fucking old-ass leather-bound books. It's like a guarantee that you're going to be even dumber than expected, right? What the fuck? Where's he going?
Mean
legal target.
Well, they weren't shipwrecked. They were blown up.
What do you think shipwrecked means?
Shipwrecked means a ship wrecks on a reef.
No, that's not what it means. It means your ship has been rendered incapacitated.
Look, even this fucking magatard knows, right? He knows. A shipwreck is... Why do you think they make a special... Why do you think they single out the word shipwreck in a military manual? Just in case... Oh, just by chance. What if just by chance... someone comes across a fucking ocean liner that's just bonked into an iceberg, in which case, no, we can't target those guys, sorry. Can't target them. Really? Do you think they should do that with battleships as well, right? Like your battleship gets sunk, or your battleship gets like critically damaged. So then you get the fucking team out to deploy the iceberg. Throw it into the sea. Throw some fucking blocks of ice on the sea. Get your fucking boombox out and blast the music for Titanic, so that when the airstrike comes to finish you off, they could be like, wait a minute, wait. Command. Target appears to have been shipwrecked. Oh fuck! Abort!
It could have been because it got wrecked, or it could have been it got blown up. The reality is that the people on the ship, even if they were enemy combatants, of which we have no proof of, by the way, even if they were, as soon as their ship has been rendered unable to perform any combat functions, and the people in the water, they have obtained.
Where does it say that?
Say why?
No.
You're a lawyer. What do you? Hey, I'm curious.
How can the guy literally just said they weren't shipwrecked, they were blown up? How is this fucking? You think the fucking DOD is just sitting there like, wait a minute, we need to make, what if you come across a marooned pirate ship? Huh? Yeah, in the Spanish Armada, there might have been some of those big wooden boats that just kind of like bonked into the fucking hills. They just got fucking stranded in the beach. It's not fair to target them. They've suffered enough.
Yeah, wait, no. Inform us. You're a lawyer. When there are words that appear legally and there are statutes, how would you figure out what it actually?
He's there. He's there to. It's a troll, right? They're just there to inflame. Wait, hang on. Is this guy a lawyer? Is he like a self-defense? Is this guy a professional? And he's out here. The fuck? Wait, hang on. I do believe. Let's see what the footnote is. I wonder if I haven't read this. This is just improv. Orders to fire upon the Shipwrecked would be clearly illegal, and that's based on a judgment in the case of Lieutenants Dithmar and Bolt on the hospital ship Llandovery Castle, Second Criminal Senate of the Imperial Court of Justice, Germany. It is certainly to be urged in favor of the military subordinates that they are under no obligation to question the order of their superior officer, and they can count upon its legality. But no such confidence can be held to exist if such an order is universally known to everybody, including also the accused, to be without any doubt whatever against the law. This happens only in rare and exceptional cases, but this case was precisely one of them, for in the present instance, it was perfectly clear to the accused that killing defenseless people in the lifeboats could be nothing else but a breach of the law. As naval officers by profession, they were well aware, as naval expert Salwiacher has strikingly stated, that one is not legally authorized to kill defenseless people. They well knew that this was the case here. They quickly found out the facts by questioning the occupants in the boats when these were stopped. They could only have gathered from the order given by Patzig that he wished to make use of his subordinates to carry out a breach of the law. They should therefore have refused to obey. So they're talking about people in lifeboats who are communicating with. Okay, so how did the hospital ship get fucked? Let's see. What happened? This is a World War I thing, I'm guessing, right? These were officers off of a U-boat. Okay. It sank a hospital ship, Llandovery Castle. Why did it sink a hospital ship? Oh, wait. So the shipwreck was wrecked by a military operator. Oh, it was blown up. Almost as if this fucking retard over here just... What, a professional fucking lawyer. Okay. Huh. Just invented the meaning. That's so convenient. That's crazy. I don't even know why I need to prove that. It's just interesting that the actual footnote goes clearly to a fucking instance, not only where there's a shipwreck, but also where the ship was wrecked, not because of a natural disaster, an act of God. The commander deliberately sank the hospital ship, Llandovery Castle. Is this like a Welsh thing? Llandovery? Like the fucking double L? Which he knew was a hospital ship from its markings and lights described for by the Hague Convention X. Apparently, he presumed the ship was carrying combatants or munitions and decided to torpedo it, in spite of having been advised not to do so by the accused Ludwig Dithmar. After having sank the ship, the commander decided to ascertain whether the hospital ship was carrying combatants and approached the surviving lifeboats. After having interrogated them and having found no indication that the hospital ship was carrying combatants or munitions, the U-boat fired at the lifeboats, sinking 2 out of the 3. Man. People talk about fucking war crime. Man, people were built differently back then. Read any fucking detailed stories about the military, let alone all the civilian killings, right? Like, just look at the fucking military ordered shit that happens in war. Fucking hell, man. They sank a hospital ship that was marked, and then they interrogated the people in the lifeboats, got no evidence that they were involved in military operations, and just sank them anyway. Man. War is hell. They were built differently back then. They don't make them like this anymore. Or I guess they do, but just not as often. Jesus. It's like people talk about the USS Liberty and how much of a fucking important story that is in the year of 2025. You know, Churchill like sank French ships in World War II and killed like 2,000 people. You know he did that, right? Because he was worried that the French were about to get taken over by the Germans. And if the French government was going to capitulate, they were going to give the Germans access to these potentially like very powerful ships. So the British, rather than we're saying to the French, either give it over to us, give us the ships, or we're going to sink them. The French stuck by their guns, and Churchill sank the French. They were our allies. And then I think on Normandy, when the British were storming the fucking beaches, there was one position, I think, where the French were already there, and they were firing on Brits as they landed. Because they were fucking mad. They killed like, bro, I swear they killed like over 1,000, maybe 1,200. Yeah, they killed 1,200 of our allies, our allied troops, in one bombardment. They were on our side, and we killed 1,200 of them. What's the story about the French firing on Brits, Normandy? Was that actually intentional? I'm not sure if that was intentional. No, they didn't actually. I'm thinking of something else. Oh, was it Algeria? Was it No, that was the boats. Was it Algeria when the French actually fired on the British? I swear there was one incident where the French fired on the Brits. But I don't know if it was intentional in that case. The French ships wasn't intentional. Like he literally said, "Get out those boats, or I'm bringing them down." It was North Africa. Okay. The court found that the firing against the hospital ship and against the lifeboats were offences against the law of nations. It found that the two accused merely obeyed the orders of Commander Patzig. However, this was not sufficient to relieve the accused from their responsibility. The court found that it was perfectly clear to the accused that their act was against the law, and that they should have refused to obey. Consequently, they were sentenced to 4 years imprisonment. What an incredible fucking footnote. Damn.
Means what would you do? What would you look up?
Are you allowed to shoot enemy soldiers who are running away?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because retreat can pertain to a military advantage. You can retreat tactically to strengthen your military advantage. If you're trying to surrender, you might not necessarily be told to retreat. Like, yeah, that's it. What tactic is involved in floating around in the sea? Bub, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
So why is this any different?
Because they're shipwrecked. They don't have the opportunity. They're not running away. They're in water. They're shipwrecked.
What about soldiers who are running away? They're not attacking you at the moment.
Because soldiers that are running away are still considered part of combat. Fleeing is a military operation.
Right. Why would these people in the boats get the benefit of the law of warfare where they're not engaged in any recognized military force or warfare?
Because when you're not...
We just don't have non-state actors as a category in the law? Okay. Bro. That's fucking insane. Strategic drowning. Yeah.
Person as threat. Are people going to die if we don't engage in that strike?
That's what they're saying, though, like because they're in the water. But again, like they might not have destroyed their weaponry, because in this case, their weapon. Remember, these guys, according to the Magatards, right? These guys on these boats, if we believe everything they're saying, they are combatants, and their weapons are drugs that will be sold to buyers in the United States. So you can blow up the ship, but I guess if some of them still had like a fucking pound or two in their back pocket, in a waterproof sealed bag, that's chemical weaponry that they are in possession of. So they could swim to shore. is the risk. They could swim to shore and then end up fucking selling the drugs and killing them. You could kill a lot of Americans with a pound of fentanyl. Probably saved more lives than it took, really, when you look at it that way. That's crazy.
kind of calculations he's engaging in. And frankly, he should have erred on not engaging in extrajudicial killings. But in the case of Trump, there's not even the pretense of that. He declared these organizations terrorists so he can justify this war. We're bombing boats that we don't know anything about. We don't have any confirmation that they're in fact engaged in drug smuggling. And even if we did, we have no sense of why anybody who's on board would be in fact a threat and could not be apprehended and put on trial. So we engage in these strikes and then we kill them when people are hanging on these boats who are injured and obviously pose no threat. I think this is just utterly grotesque abuse of power and use of violence for the sake of using violence, completely unjustifiable and for alternate political ends. So just want to put that out. Now, on the question...
How am I rooting for History Speaks right now? This is not History Speaks. This is a different bald. This guy is too slender to be History Speaks. What are you talking about?
Of Sharia court.
This is not History Speaks. He's just another... He's just another baldy guy. Oh, God.
Certainly, they should not supersede the actual laws of the country. If a Muslim community wants to settle its own disputes using religious law consensually, they should be allowed to do that if they want to. There are certain things with Jewish law as well and many others. But ultimately, the law of the country is what should reign supreme. And if there are people who want to have the result, nobody should be able to impose that court in lieu of the actual law taking place and impose that on somebody else. So it's a matter of what the jurisdiction is of these courts. They should never supersede existing law, and I don't think that they do. I think these are completely consensual courts that people enter to resolve their religious disputes if they all parties agree that this is how they want to resolve their issues.
Valentina Gomez.
Sharia courts have no place in England. Sharia courts have no place in Christian nations. That's why you guys have 56 Muslim nations. And I fully support and love what President Trump and Pete Hegseth are doing. We need to bomb more narco-terrorists into oblivion. That's the reality. You defend terrorists because you're probably a little terrorist yourself.
This person's not getting shit, is she? This is fucking ridiculous. What, she tried in a different state and got 7% of the vote, and now it's such a fucking meme. Like, why are we entertaining this?
As well, that's the reality.
Why would you say that?
What would I say? What?
Why do you use language like that? Why do you brand a fellow panelist who's actually a respected journalist a terrorist?
Someone who is defending terrorists. Someone who is defending terrorism. Drugs into the United
he hasn't
States
defended terrorism. Only one. Just to be clear, Valentina Gomez. I've had 3 reasonable members of this panel offering reasonable arguments.
Reasonable,
all I've heard from you so far is dumb bigotry, accusations of terrorism against people who are just perfectly ordinary journalists. There's something wrong with you. Why do you do this?
Sounds like you during COVID, Piers. You were vilifying, shaming, and trying to destroy people for.
Oh, but I've apologized for that now, and I completely acknowledge the value of ivermectin and that the vaccine wasn't 100% effective. Like they all said, it definitely would be. They all definitely said that.
For History Speaks right now. Crazy.
Thanks for the 10 euros, Razor Fringe.
Wanting to take the COVID vaccine,
yeah.
You tried to destroy.
And you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong.
Exactly.
He fucking wasn't wrong. He just changed. He's just decided to deliberately misremember everything that was said by the mainstream at the time.
You're wrong, and you still are wrong today.
Well, you don't become less wrong. I've admitted I was wrong. I've apologized. What I've not seen from you, is any admission of being wrong or an apology for the disgusting way you talk about people. Why do you do it?
I apologize for nothing. My statements and my actions have endured the test of time. And Piers, since you cut me off, let me finish. You've been on national television for 20 years, and during that entire time, England has only gotten more Muslim.
Oh yeah, someone should have asked her if Jewish marriage councils were okay as well. People have woken up to AIPAC, one of the worst foreign entities that needs to be abolished. AIPAC hit me up. For what? What? Oh yeah, this is before that. Fuck me, man. That's crazy.
For 20
when
years,
were you last in England?
To even say faggot or to even call out the rapist Muslims. You're not censored. The truth is, you have been complicit with the rape of England into its submission.
Wow, she speaks to wow.
On the police and the courts that have covered up for their crimes. Absolutely. And I'll say what everybody else is thinking. England is better off without all the Muslims. And that goes the same way to the United States. We can solve all of our problems happens if these Muslims are sent back to their Sharia nations, because they're not here to
Oh, really? You
assimilate
think there would be
to
no
the
problems?
American or the
You think
British.
you'd have no?
Piers, let me
You think
finish.
you'd have
Let me
no?
finish,
Just to be
Lord.
clear,
Let me finish,
just to be
Piers.
no. I'll tell you
Lord.
what. You
Piers,
finish.
I'll
You
finish.
finish. You
They're
said.
not here to
You said what you want to
assimilate
say.
to the American or
You
the
said what you
British
want
way
to
of
say.
life.
Yeah, you see, this has been my suspicion.
Okay.
Because the last time you were here, you were at a Tommy Robinson march. And this has been my problem with Tommy Robinson.
Oh, yes.
No, yeah, not that Tommy Robinson wasn't right to expose the grooming gangs. He was. The problem is that he and many of his followers, like you, actually hate Muslims. You're actual genuine Islamophobes. You would like them all removed
Muslims,
from the
they belong in
country.
their Muslim nations. That's the thing. They're just obsessed with coming to Christian.
I never understand when people do this, because people bring these like fucking crackpots on and they'll be like, listen, we got you. You're an Islamophobe. And she's going to be like, no, I'm not Islamophobe. I hate Muslims. You got me wrong, Pierre. I'm not afraid. I hate that. I'm a Muslim hater. Get it right. And it's just, I don't know what the point is. Like, what's the point in bringing on people so they can just soapbox this? Like, you realize that people like this are fucking immune to being called any slur or like any, not slurs, right? Like any derogatory, like any like racist, Islamophobe, bigot or anything like that. They're immune to all of it. They're immune to any of these fucking slight, like, he's just bringing it on for content.
Nations, burning our flag, chanting death to America, killing our American soldiers. So yes, they belong in their Muslim nations. Piers, let me finish what I said. These Muslims are not here to assimilate to the American or the British way of life.
Actually, many Muslims assimilate perfectly well.
They only contribute to rape statistics and terrorist attacks.
Really? And you don't think any white Christians commit any crime in the UK or US?
They do, and we deal with them.
Well, we do the same with Muslims who commit crimes.
No, you don't. No,
yes,
you
we
don't,
do.
Piers. That's why you have a huge Pakistani, a Muslim,
That was a disgusting scandal. Yeah, you know what? You know what? On that point,
it's over 10 years ago since this happened. Fucking hell, man. It's over 10 years ago.
On that point, you're absolutely right.
No, she's fucking not, you retard. Like what? This has been the thing. This has been the case for police officers across the board. They are just as bad at prosecuting rapes when it comes to fucking white girls as it is with when the perpetrators are Muslim. If it's white offenders or the fucking Catholic nursery from my fucking hometown that was abusing kids got away with it for 50 years until they were exposed in the press. Like 50 fucking years. How long did Jimmy Savile get away with what he was doing? Jesus, fuck.
The British Pakistani grooming scandal,
They're not British.
abuse scandal.
They're not British.
Well, you can use any terminology you like. I will use mine, which is the correct terminology. That scandal was disgusting. It was actually exposed by a journalist who I knew on the Times, who did some extraordinary work. Tommy Robinson amplified it, but it was exposed by a journalist on the Times newspaper.
Because of Tommy Robinson,
and it was covered up in a disgraceful manner that shamed my country, right? And I'm very happy to agree about that point. But it doesn't mean that every Muslim of the 5 million Muslims in my country are somehow complicit with those disgusting monsters. In the same way that when a white Christian commits a heinous crime, I don't assume that every white Christian is the same. Why would you?
Piers, you can take the Muslim out of a terrorist nation, but you cannot take the terrorism out of a Muslim. And give me one example of a Christian committing a terrorist attack right now against Muslims.
Let me ask you then, what
happened in Christchurch, mate? That was one of the biggest terror attacks in the English-speaking world. What the fuck?
UK and the United States illegally invaded Iraq in 2003. I waged a campaign against that. So what would you say about that illegal invasion of a Muslim country?
Ooh,
Muslims are killing Christians in Nigeria, Piers.
Right. So I didn't ask you about Nigeria. I asked you about Iraq.
She ain't got shit. Answer the fucking question,
repeat your question again, please.
Yeah, repeat your... She wasn't even fucking listening. Dopey fuck.
Do you agree that we illegally invaded Iraq in 2003?
I don't think she's right enough to understand your question, Piers.
I don't think she does. I don't think she
misogyny. She should. Again, if she was a smart racist, she would accuse him of being misogynist. She's not got it. She can't do it.
To understand it, but in 2000,
then she should quadruple strike them, quadruple tap them with the mansplaining fucking accusations. She's not doing it though. She ain't got it.
In my opinion, illegally invaded Iraq, a sovereign country. 1 million people died It created ISIS, which then wreaked mayhem for 2 decades, and was a stain on my country and on the Prime Minister Tony Blair, who I think should have been held up in a court of law over what happened under my name and the name of the British people. But do you care about that? Do you care that 1 million people, including hundreds of thousands of Muslims, were killed in a war in Iraq, which in my opinion was fought on an illegal false pretext that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, which he didn't, it turned out?
Piers, in 2003, I was 4 years old, and I cannot change what happened back then.
No, I asked you for your opinion.
I
asked you for your opinion.
They can bomb every terrorist country they want. That's the reality.
Your intellect has not grown a year since then.
That the Taliban, ISIS,
you still think
they
like
all
a
come from the
4-year-old.
Middle East. But then they're obsessed. Then they're, yes, I'm honest. I'm honest. And I am the American dream on steroids. I have worked my way to the top.
You're not the American dream, Valentina. You're not the American dream. You're the American nightmare.
Yes, I am.
You're somebody fomenting hatred towards an entire community in your country. And I don't understand why you need to do that.
They belong in their Muslim nations, Piers. That's the reality.
What's that?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
They belong in their Muslim nations,
Really?
Piers. That's the reality.
So would you deport every single?
You to be a leader for the UK,
so just to be
but
clear, just to be clear, then you would deport. You would deport. Just to be clear. Just to be clear. Just to be clear. You would deport every Muslim from the US and the UK, would you?
Yes.
Where I'm from, chips are called crisps, and our chips are actually what Americans call French fries, but that's not really.
Oh, is that a fact? Okay, good. Trump saying the most incredible fucking shit.
It's a con job. I think affordability is the greatest con job. They look at you and they say, affordability. They don't say anything else. Everyone says, oh, their prices were so low. No. They had the worst inflation. It's a con job. I think affordability is the greatest con job. They look at you.
He in the UK, there's this saying, which is if someone starts talking about something that's irrelevant, or usually irrelevant to a discussion, but it can be irrelevant in general, and you would say, "What's that got to do with the price of eggs?" You know, like we were talking about the price of eggs, and someone starts yapping away about fucking. About young hoodlums in the streets, and you're like, what's that got to do with the price of eggs? Someone's just pivoting a little bit. It's just interesting that Trump spoke so much about the fucking price. He literally spoke about the price of eggs. It's not metaphorical. He obsessed with the price of eggs. A proxy for affordability for the entire election fucking campaign. And now he's saying it's a fucking con job because he's not got the prices down. The prices are up. Inflation's up. Inflation's not really any better than it was in the month before Biden left office. And he keeps having to lie about fucking gas prices and medication prices. Unbelievable. The Hegseth smear was debunked yesterday, dude. What smear? What's Mr. Hegseth doing? We haven't got to him yet. What is that? What are we talking about? The Hegseth thing? What? What's that got to do with the price of eggs? We're talking about the price of eggs. Doesn't he still talk about how fucking amazing grocery prices are? What? The Signal report. What, from the Pentagon? Is that what you're talking about? Don't worry, we'll get on that. We'll actually do that right now. The fuck? Double tap the eggs. Maybe. I'll think about it. Do I need to redo the Super Chats goal? Fuck! Yeah, I do. That was quite a quick one, though. I'm doing it in 5s today, okay? We're experimenting. New Super Chats goal, guys. Get on it. Double equals tapped egg prices. I suppose so. Do I want to go into the Hexa thing now, or do I want to go into the January 6th thing now? Because the January 6th is kind of breaking news, isn't it? We have Mr. Luckner covering it for us. We have Mr. Breaking. Family files complaint claiming a fisherman was killed in the boat. Okay. Wait, where is he? What the fuck? Actually, maybe it was quite a swift report.
Before
no, it's not.
January 6th.
What happened? Well, there's been this story about someone planting pipe bombs on the night before the protest, riot, whatever. Failed. But Yeah, he seems to have been arrested. They got him, ladies and gent. Is there any footage, or is he just reading stuff? Oh yeah, the
a
FBI
Democratic congressman, the ranking member of the House Intel Committee, and that is Jim Himes of Connecticut. So the person giving this briefing in a secure facility, a SCIF, which is that's a sensitive compartmented information facility, a secure room used to have to discuss classified information and to process and store it, classified information. Anyways, this congressman who was...
Oh yeah, bad news, by the way. I did do a request for these court document. Well, not the document, for the exhibits in the court document. They told me that I need a court order to get them. I need a court order to get the exhibit. Why? Is there not where's the freedom of information? The document's there. They refer to the exhibits. They tell you what's in them. Can you really not get them? This fucking retard's just allowed to lie about what he was doing when he got fined. I mean, I guess I can just show the court document because it's not like his counsel or he's denying what's in it. Fuck, though. For a media request, yeah, looks like it. Yeah, they just said I need a court order. I don't even know what that means. Do it. How do I get a court? I don't know what that means. How do I get a court order? Just use AI, what to make it, to just put in the paragraph and reproduce it. Probably could, actually.
One of the people who was briefed today said, what I saw in that room is one of the most troubling scenes I've seen in my time in public service.
Yeah?
That's what Democratic Congressman Jim Himes said today after his briefing. That's according to Bill Malugin of Fox News. Again, I wasn't in the briefing, so reportedly the video. Bill Malugin reported that that the congressman was shown unedited video of that strike on the drug boat, or the strikes on the drug boat. So that's another story keeping an eye on today. Okay, so I'll let you know when I get updates on that.
You know what? I'm just gonna find the thing. I'm gonna find the actual story. Then let's go. This is it. Breaking news. Breaking news.
CNN has learned that an arrest has
Why
been made
is CNN so fucking
in the
quiet?
Washington, D.C. January 6th pipe bomb investigation. You will remember that on the morning of the riots around the Capitol, there were also pipe bombs that were found at both the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee headquarters. CNN has now learned that an arrest has been made. Let's get right to CNN's Evan Perez for the latest on this. Evan, what are you learning?
Yeah, John, this has been a long-running investigation, a 5-year investigation that the FBI has focused dozens of agents. They've looked at thousands of tips that have come in, video, hundreds of pieces of video. And this morning, the FBI has made an arrest. We're told we expect to see some charges later today. But this is obviously something that has eluded the FBI despite all of their efforts. Part of the problem has been that you see some of the grainy video. I think we have some of that that the FBI has released from the placement of that bomb. These bombs were placed outside of the DNC headquarters, outside of the RNC headquarters. These were just a couple blocks from the U.S. Capitol. And when they were discovered, what happened was the police from the Capitol complex rushed over there, and that happened to be just at about the time that some of the crowds of Donald Trump supporters who were outside the Capitol began breaking through some of the cordons to break into that building and attack the Capitol on January 6th. So obviously it's been the source of a lot of conspiracies over the years, but finally the FBI believes that they have the person who planted these bombs. Now, the bombs were viable according to the FBI, and if they had gone off, they could have harmed someone, and that included Kamala Harris, who was then the vice president, and I'm sorry, she was incoming vice president.
Is he wearing heels? Lol, he walks weird. Well, if he's smart, he will be walking funny on purpose because your gait is often analyzed to figure out who you are. That's how they caught bin Laden. If you know that, just wear some funky shoes, deliberately walk funny, go to the, watch the Ministry of Silly Walks a few times, trick the gate algo,
And the concern, obviously, was that she passed about 20 feet away from where one of these bombs was planted near the DNC headquarters. The FBI has tried everything from releasing different pieces of video from the alleys and some of the streets scenes there. You'll see the bomber walking along the streets. He was wearing some very distinctive black and gray Nike Air Max shoes. The FBI even found that there was about 25,000 of those shoes that were sold around the time of the placement of those bombs, and they still could not find this person. So we'll expect to hear more from the Justice Department later today.
Were they looking through fucking sales of those Air Max? Oh God.
Some charges against this person, which will explain a little bit about how they went about finally solving this this case. And obviously something that the FBI has been very focused. Even the new incoming leadership of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, they brought in a new team, set of fresh eyes to look at the evidence. And it appears that has brought forward some new clues that help them solve this case today, John.
Evan, I have to ask, because there have been a lot of conspiracy theories, one way or another, about this investigation. Do you have any information about the identity and possibly, the implications of who this person is at this time?
Well, if it is who we believe it is, it should at least put to bed some of this conspiracy, at least theoretically.
He is absolutely bringing his knees up to walk funny. I swear to fuck, he's doing that on purpose, right? No one walks like that.
Put to
Look at
bed some of this conspiracy, at least
maybe.
theoretically.
Looked tired the first time.
It should calm some of those conspiracies. You remember, certainly on the right wing, in right wing social media, there's been a lot of speculation that this perhaps was an inside job. It's a theory that even Dan Bongino, the now deputy director of the FBI, he
has a weird stumble.
Mentioned some of this on his podcast, saying that it was possible the FBI knew who this bomber was, but wasn't making an arrest because this person was an insider. Again, no indication that that is the case from what we know so far. We don't have an identification of that person yet from the FBI, from the Justice Department.
That's a pipe bomb, all right.
But from everything we know, it seems to indicate that this is not somebody who is an insider. Again, we're waiting to hear more from prosecutors, from the FBI in the coming hours.
Evan Perez, terrific reporting. Obviously, we're standing by for more information. You are working your sources. I am sure we will hear from you.
He really fucking just operated in the shadows for 4 years. Just in time to get pardoned. It's going to be the quickest pardon you've ever seen. Like nothing you've ever seen.
You soon. In the meantime, I'm joined by CNN legal analyst Elliot Williams. What charges? What kind of charges are we talking about here?
Right. It's the explosives, John. It would probably be for, well, what's on the table? The creation of an explosive device, the manufacture of an explosive device, perhaps.
In theory, could this part of Trump's January 6th pardon apply to the pipe bomb suspect? Grant a full, complete, and unconditional pardon to all other individuals convicted of offenses related to the events that occurred at or near the Capitol on January 6th. Preemptive pardon. Yeah, what is going to happen? What is going to happen if the guy with a pipe bomb? Jesus.
Conspiracy to construct some such thing, and also the potential destruction of property. Now, all of these would be attempts because of the fact that the bomb did not go off. But the individual could be charged for attempted destruction of property. Now, a lot of this will depend on what the FBI actually has. What do you know? Did he send emails? Did he send texts to sort of indicate what his plans were? But we'll see.
Let me ask kind of an esoteric question here. This happened January 6th. Yes. What if this person was at the riots on Capitol Hill on January 6th, for which everyone has now been pardoned?
That's one of the many constitutional questions we don't know the answer to. Would this be considered a January 6th related crime of the sort of, destruction of property at the Capitol or something?
Hassan threatened Dan, Destiny, and Ethan, saying that their addresses are on. Really? No. I link or I don't believe you.
totally different. Now, again, that becomes a political question as much as a legal one. Does the president really wish to say that someone who wanted to bomb both the RNC, or potentially bomb both the RNC and the DNC, ought to be pardoned for that offense? That's an open question.
I will say the fact that we are going to get an announcement of
It's just going to be like, I think I maybe know, if it's what I think you're referring to, then you're probably going to get fucking muted for being a retard, but let's see.
The public announcement indicates that the Justice Department doesn't think so.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
However, it's something to think about. It is something to think about when we still don't know the identity of this person or what they then did later that day.
One other big thing, there is no federal...
Look at that stretch. That is a woman. No, I think the guy's got a name now, to be fair. I think it's this guy. Brian Cole. Big Brian. Why is it loading? Hey.
Domestic terrorism charge. You can't be charged for being a terrorist in the United States. Now, that could be an enhancement at sentencing.
Your political take on the United States is invalid. Dude, if you're not MAGA, all of your political takes on the United States are invalid. Welcome to fascism. Got him. Got him.
If it is determined that this was designed to coerce or intimidate a civilian population or influence government, which kind of seems like it was if you're going after the RNC and the DNC, then that could bump up sentencing of this individual if he or she is convicted quite dramatically.
All right, this is a major development. Obviously, we still got a lot of questions. More information, no doubt, will be coming. Our thanks to Evan Perez on the reporting. Our thanks to Elliot Williams for helping us maybe understand some of the consequences.
Okay. Fine. What we got here? Is Fox going to start operating, please? What's going on? The guy is called Brian Cole. Brian Colme. Fox News has identified the man, reports say, was arrested in the FBI in connection with pipe bombs planted in Washington the night before January 6, 2021. Capitol riot as Brian Cole. Fox says Cole was living in Virginia at the time of his arrest on Thursday morning. No other details were immediately available. Nothing. Wow. Oh, they found his house. They're hovering. Ain't no way he's this suburban fuck. What? Where is he? I'm gonna find him coming out. What'd I do? First Amendment. Pardon. Executive order. Damn, he was well off. Most expensive area, you sir. Was he a white? I'm not sure. I don't think we've seen him. That is a lot of cavalry, though, for one guy. I see a door there opening. Off screen. Oh. Someone's coming out. Who's that? Is that his house? It's not as nice as this one, but it'll do. Of course, he was a suburban rich white dude. Brian, call me. This is boring. I'm sorry. You can become more active in the stream process if you just, send a donation. The forensics is there. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, they got the little fucking triangle. No one ever getting past that. They'll never get past. Man, it's amazing how much yellow tape can have like an impact on people. You know, it's like those guys who would do the fucking like media stunts. Is if you want to like get on someone's on some property or like do some fucking prank in a supermarket or something, just wear a fucking high-vis jacket and no one will pay any attention to what you're doing. Like protesters would do this as well. Sometimes they would wear high-vis, yellow vests, and then they would go and like change the fucking sign on a shop that they don't like and call them like tax evading cunts. Oh god. Well, damn. Still a bit of swamp draining that they're going after this guy. Can you narrate the scene for audio only, folks? We're watching many vehicles at the end of this cul-de-sac. Looks like a very well-off part of Virginia. I can't imagine the average Virginians living like that. Maybe this is why. This is why a CIA Democrat won, because everyone in Virginia has these houses. Millionaires. We're seeing some of that yellow security tape around a triangled off area within the circle at the end of the cul-de-sac. Not sure why it's there, but we do know ain't no one getting past that yellow tape. Apart from the guys in the all-white forensic suits who are already past it. Several large black vehicles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What appears to be a press vehicle. I don't know what this is. This like a, it's like a black, it looks like a fire engine, but it's not. Do you think they had to bring a bomb squad just in case he had any spare? I feel like a bomb maker is probably a really serious threat. Isn't it? Like a bomb maker. If you're going to go and arrest a bomb maker, you probably need all kinds of you need all kinds of blokes there. There are people in the woods as well, patrolling the forest, the little woodland outside his house. Man, imagine just having this in your back garden. That's so crazy. There's not even any fencing. I guess this is just like, is that state property or whatever this for? Like they can just go there? You just have it to your, you just kind of claim it by adventuring through it. These guys will probably have neighborhood watch as well. Like any outsiders walk in that forest for laughs, so they get fucking shot. Bro could have lived a chill life in his own forest, in his own back forest. Do you have any idea the amount of slop I would cover to get a little forest in my back garden? I think when the Beatles first wrote songs, they would say like, oh yeah, we're going to write a new guitar amp, or like we're going to write a new house, we're going to write a swimming, like that kind of stupid shit. Yeah, I'm going to cover one tree. I'm going to cover one tree, 1 dunham of forest land within a 2-minute walk of my house. Which is not easy in Europe. Not easy in the United Kingdom. You could move 5 minutes out of town and have this in your back garden. I know, okay, but living in the country is so fucking... I've never known anyone who is like me, who's lived in the countryside and enjoyed it. But maybe I'm older now. Maybe I'd enjoy it. Yeah, maybe. Maybe if I buy a house, I would probably get one in the country because you get so much more for what you pay. But it's a bit down the line, you know. We're still young-ish. Slop o'clock going to get you much closer to the goal. I really hope not. I hope I don't... I don't like these incentives where I switch over to the slop o'clock and then people start donating and fat fucking stuff. Come on. Do better, guys. You're guessing these houses are 600k to 900. You think these houses right here are 600 to 900 in the United States? Really? Man, in the UK, if you're buying a house like this, you are spending... if it's in the... Maybe it's in the country. No way. It's more than that, isn't it? Would it not be more? I would think these are like $1 million homes. Or, I don't know. I don't look at house prices that much. You wouldn't do slop o'clock for $400? What, like in a single dono? 700k to $1 million. I think I found the sign. Oh, potential. Someone actually got in touch with the Brisbane courthouse. Was this the sign all along? Okay. That explains everything. Blank sign, you say. What a fraud. What a bastard. Poor guy. Poor ass Drew. What's going on? They're zooming in. Breaking. They're zooming into the triangle. What do we got here? Is this just supply vehicles? Is that what this is? Just sold a house that big in the UK for 400k. Sad times. Yes, it was in the north. Wow, you just sold a house that size. I'm so sorry for you. What? Zillow is showing 700k to 1.1 million for Northern Virginia on average. Yeah, that seems about right. They set up a "Is he guilty? Changed my mind" table. That's what this is. I see. That's it's encouraging community activity. I see. The search is going to take a while. They're going to have to search everything to make sure it's safe. Like, if you've got a bomb maker, do you really have to go and just see if they haven't just laid traps all over their vicinity? Like, I don't know how it works. I know, obviously, like, I've read about bomb makers in fucking West Bank or, like, Second Intifada. And obviously, yeah, they would rig, like, an entire fucking street with explosives once the civilians had left. But, jeez. Like, they just expect it to be like Macaulay Culkin's Home Alone house. Like... The fucking battle plan. Damn. That's what Home Alone's based on. It was actually written by a by a bomb maker. Okay. Okay. Subscribe, you fucking assholes. I mean, sorry.